caused the Civil War? Well, different social and political beliefs developed in both southern and northern states. Also, unfair taxation, slavery issues, and state rights. The battle started July 1st, 1863. Gettysburg was General Lee's second attempt of invasion of the North to take pressure off Virginia farms.
George Meade was the most notable Union general of the Battle of Gettysburg.
He went to a naval school to train to be a general. Meade wasn't always a general in the Army. He actually got his starts as a lower rank. He even served most notably in the Indian Creek War, where he was shot multiple times. Meade wasn't the first of Lincoln's choices of generals. There were 4 others higher ranked above him, but he was chosen for his aggressiveness. Lee and Meade met in battle. They fought for 3 whole days. Lee attacking for the first 2 days, and Meade crushing Lee's army on the 3rd. He was criticized by many of Lincoln's supporters. They thought that maybe he wasn't aggressive enough. On the 3rd day, when Meade defeated Lee in battle, he had the perfect opportunity to end the rest of Lee's army. But he didn't. Sending Lee's army to their graves, he instead allowed them to retreat to Virginia.
Robert E. Lee was George Meade's counterpart at Gettysburg. He was the most notable Confederate general in all the Civil War. Robert E. Lee was born to Henry Lighthouse Horse Lee, who was a Revolutionary War hero for America. His father had to leave when Robert E. Lee was a young adult due to financial hardships. In the year of 1862, Robert E. Lee gained control of the Virginia Army from Joseph Johnston. After gaining control of the army, Lee named the army the Army of Northern Virginia. Lee graduated second in his class at West Point Military Academy. After graduation, he served for 17 years for the Corps of Engineering as an officer. Most people don't know, but in 1861, Abraham Lincoln offered Robert E. Lee the position of general in the Union Army. He had to decline the offer because of his home state, Virginia, had seceded from the Union. The first battle in the Civil War was at Cheat Mountain. Although the Confederates lost this battle, his wonderful reputation withstood the criticism from the public. The Battle of Antietam started when Union General George McClellan came across a misplaced dispatch from Confederate General Robert E. Lee. This dispatch showed Robert E. Lee's plans to invade Maryland. This was Lee's first attempt to invade the North, as he saw that was the only way to win the war. The Battle of Antietam went from a supposed to be one-day surprise attack to a one-day stalemate, which led to Lee retreating at night. This was the bloodiest battle in the Civil War. After the loss at Antietam, Lee was crushed. He decided to go on the defensive for the next year. During that year, he gained a lot of confidence and victories. Tactical differences, the tactical meetings, were very argumentative and fractional, meaning that everyone had a different opinion and it was hard to make plans for what they're going to do at the battle. After the Battle of Antietam, the year that Lee went on the defensive was the year leading up to Gettysburg. During that time, when Lee gained all of his confidence, the majority came from the battle at Chancellorsville. That battle gave Lee the final push he needed to do another invasion of the North. Lee had very aggressive tactics in war. Everyone below him on his side, though, however, had conservative tactics. Everyone below him thought that if he had gone with the more conservative approach, that they would have won the battle.
Although the Battle of Gettysburg did not end the Civil War, it did swing the momentum from the South to the North's favor. The Northerners' victory at Gettysburg eased the minds of those who thought that Lincoln had lost. After the Battle of Gettysburg, the war still raged on for 2 whole years. The South could not come back from the terrible losses they suffered. Over 25,000 men. Another 15,000 lives were lost at the pointless and reckless Battle of Cemetery Hill. The Civil War positively affected the U.S. in many ways. For instance, the 13th Amendment was passed. It abolished slavery. No more slaves. But there were some negative aspects of the Civil War. For instance, the Ku Klux Klan started to oppose the 13th Amendment. The more you know. The 13th Amendment was passed, Jim Crow laws were also put in place. Oh, the lives of slaves went downhill.
On April 9th, 1865, Lee had to surrender to Ulysses S. Grant, which effectively ended the American Civil War.